episode of The After Shot. My name is Daniel and we'll be discussing all things functional today. Today is a doozy, so I needed to get someone that can be on my level. Cory Xenos. Cory, welcome back. Thank you so much. It's like as if you've never left. As if you've been like around us this whole time.
Long time no see.
Okay, y'all, this episode is monumental and a little bit of a lot of firsts in functional where it's interesting. So before we get into it, I'm gonna need to calm down. Let's
do this. We worked hard, man.
So, oh my gosh, okay. I'm gonna be honest. When I wrote this episode,
what were you thinking?
it was very me just trying to sort things out personally. Personally, Daniel, before I put it and linked it to Guillermo, I was like, an excuse of the mask. I'm like, this isn't me saying it, it's someone else. But no, I'll be very honest, and this is very Daniel speaking. But this was a first in functional in a sense where we also made a decision in a sense that it was going to be one of the longest takes, the longest monologues in, I don't know, history maybe we're the longest monologues in history, I don't know.
It is. It's in the books.
But I wanted it to be a sense where the audience and myself get to introduce Guillermo in the purest raw form. This is Guillermo just pretty much telling it himself as it is, his insecurities, his ups, his downs, why he acts the way he acts. And the thing that we've been saying this whole season is literally gripping and staring at the mirror and asking himself, why are you the way you are?
Well, it's one of my favorites. I mean, I know we say that every time, but it truly is because I think it's the most vulnerable thing that you can do, both as the writer and the actor. Coming from the writing standpoint, I think we write shows that are based on our lives. It's okay to fabricate some things, but what we do is we write them. We don't necessarily show all of the inner dialogue, all of the inner turmoil, because we don't want to be that vulnerable. It's easy to be like, well, he's kind of flawed, but it's okay. I'm not going to show you everything. But what I think is so incredible is that you put yourself out there in this one by doing that and by being like, yes, this is based on me. This is what I'm dealing with. Like, you're putting your shit out there for people. But what's also great about it is that people identify with that. People are feeling that same thing, and you're gonna see that people are gonna respond so well to that. And it's like the scariest thing to do that and be so vulnerable. Even though you're an actor and you have to be vulnerable, you're a writer, you have to be, but that's one of those times where you really cross that line and dive straight into it, and I have nothing but respect.
Now, this episode itself was legit the first thing we shot for season 2.
Yeah.
So just to like...
It was a doozy.
Welcome back. Get fucked up emotionally. Well, episode aside, you directed a monster of a season, so thank you so much. I mean... There's so many questions I can ask you as to why and how and why and again why and are you okay? But I guess don't get into that right now. Hold on, I don't cry. But
I'm okay right now.
But I guess the question I want to do, and like, I mean, one of the things, especially with the aftershot, I wanted to take is, you know, if there's anyone out there watching, like, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't know how. And this is kind of what we did with season 1. It's as a director who wants to be a director, wants to create, who doesn't have the tools. One, what do you suggest for someone who's like, I want to do this, but I don't have the. I mean, I asked this question last season, but I'm asking it again. I want to be a director, but I don't think I can do it. I don't have the materials. There's always something.
Yeah, I think it's just figuring out one step. You know, you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have all the ducks in a row, so to speak. It's about finding some content that you can take a chance on, finding maybe a group of people that are also wanting to create content, you know, with you. Do it somewhere where you feel safe. That way, because you will make mistakes. But if you're surrounded by a group of people that you trust and you have a good foundation, it's okay to take the chances, but also take the chance of making mistakes.
We also don't take it serious.
Right. You can't. If you're so serious, you're gonna fail because this is fun, right? It's work, but it's fun. And if you're not enjoying it, you're either doing it with the wrong people or you're not meant to do it. You've got to love doing this because you have to put so much of yourself and your time and your energy into it. So you have to know that.
One of the things you said, and which I loved, and this is stuff actually when we were filming this with Rufina, with Liz, where it's your first project doesn't have to be the best, but it's yours. And I think I can respectfully say this, and hopefully not throwing any of us under the bus, but there's a lot of mistakes that we've done either on our second project this season where it's we didn't film it the way we wanted to, but we're really good at let's stand by that, and this is why we did this. You know what, this didn't work out, but but we were gonna symbolize it and make it, this is why it's important. And I think that's a really good trait, because it's where if something doesn't work, people get shut down and it's well, that's not what I wanted.
You need to be able to justify
legit, we kind of I think it's okay for us we bullshit ourselves and saying that's fine. And then when you look at you know what, that's what I actually wanted.
You've got to have that levity, because if it's just so serious and then you just get caught up in all the mistakes, you're not going to grow and get anywhere forward. You're going to give up on your project.
This episode especially, but there was a lot of fucking wrenches. I was here you go, dodge this ball. That I go.
Zoom in, no zoom lens. Sure.
But this episode especially, so one, this whole episode was 10 pages of just me talking. And on top of that, I was okay, we're renting the venue the first day back. We're getting, used to the equipment. Also, we have an hour for this.
Also, working with new people. And you have to get to know your new crew to understand.
We legit are we're being charged by the hour. So can we be done legit tomorrow or by yesterday essentially?
Also, I'm going to pick the biggest venue.
Everything.
So much.
So
space.
First day back, I gave you all the church scene episodes. I think we filmed 20 pages in one day.
Yeah.
So you as a director, when you get a list of all these shots, all these scenes, how do you tackle it when it's okay, the time is running, let's do it?
What I've learned is you can't get overwhelmed by having all of that on the plate. You have to focus on one part at a time. So it's easy to be shooting, scene 5 and thinking about 10, I'll have to do the monster later, but you gotta just let it go and get the most out of what you're working on right now in that first hour. Because there's always going to be the shots the dream shots, the shots you really want, but you have to look at what do I really need to get out of this to successfully tell a story and portray this moment, this beat. What's the most important thing? If we have time for the dream stuff, we'll allow that to happen and then move on to the next part of the next hour. So it's not thinking about I have so much on my plate. You've just got to break it down into small parts.
Now let me be clear to audiences out there who was is this how it works in real life? No, actually, there's budgets and stuff, and people have. So no, we don't. Thankfully, I'm assuming when you go on the thing, it's okay, well, we're gonna split it.
You have more time.
Yeah, more
shoot
time.
These things.
But coming on an indie project, it's okay, we don't got money, we don't got funds, and I'm not saying to anyone who's doing this, let's be ambitious and do it on the first fly. I'm not saying do that. But knowing you, I was if anyone can take it, it's Cory. Not the best decision ever coming from a producer side, first time director, first time writer, never do this. But
it's a lot.
I'm thank you. Was there ever a point on one of these shooting days in season 2 where this is not doable? I don't think this is doable. Because she never said no, but you're okay, cool. But was there a point where this is not?
I don't think so. I think the church felt very overwhelming. it was also, but it was really exciting at the same time because we're doing things in those scenes that we've not done in Functional. I've not done in Fortnite. We're doing special effects, making people fucking disappear. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've done that stuff for like fan videos, so I knew that I could do it. But it was more of like the church day was overwhelming, especially working with so many actors that we didn't know yet, and then a new DP. Because as a DP also, I am very like in control of. I have to be in control of what's happening. So I've talked to Oscar, who's phenomenal. He's a great DP. He did tremendous work this season. But I had to build a relationship with him while going through that. And DPs and directors, sometimes it works really well and sometimes they fight like crazy. We have a great relationship, but it's also managing those working dynamics while going through this time crunch and these crazy shots. You're asking for, I'm like, I think we can make it happen. God, I don't know. I'm always up for the challenge. So it was never a no, but it was like, we're really losing time on this.
Yeah. It was.
So
I put y'all through it. Like, your season 1 wasn't like let's learn from the mistakes. It was like, let's do it even more. So, Cory, thank you so much. I think this is the longest episode of the Aftershock, but it's very much needed, and I hope people watching this can take away of the hows and the whats. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of hats. One of the biggest things, and I'm very happy to have you in my life in the sense where you and I come from like different backgrounds, but we're still cut from the same cloth. I think that's what it is, because like we come from that. Like, I do think it's a toxic saying to say this, but we understand that it's how it gets the job done. But we're never someone to say like, oh, that's not my job.
Exactly.
It's like, well, whose job is good? So. Thank you for being that person. Thank you for letting me put you through so many challenges and letting me grow from your experiences. So. Your
challenges.
With that, I
help
think
me.
we deserve
Yes.
another one.
Your challenges help me grow as an artist, as a creator, and I always take away something from when I work with you and bring it into my other outside projects. So. I don't ever feel like it was a waste or invaluable or not valuable. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Okay. It's always good for me. I always grow with you, and it brings me so much joy to see how much we grow together, and that we have that understanding of like where we come from, and that we're hustlers and we're gonna get it done. And because these things are important to us. So it's an honor to create with you in all different projects, and to know that we really have a sense of trust of like, we can be honest with each other, and that it's only gonna propel us forward and up.
We're preparing for a lot of stuff, and we train ourselves in different ways. So thank you, Cory. With that, I want to give you the best shot in the world. We're dripping in sweat, y'all. This is a labor of love.
Melting, okay.
Thank you so much, Cory, for your talents and for your time. And everyone back home, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Aftershock. We are down to the last 4 episodes, so
some incredible stuff.
There's some good stuff coming. So thank you guys so much. Join us next week for another exciting episode. We are getting down to the last 4. So please like, share, subscribe. Actually, Cory, where can we find you real quick?
I am on Twitter at CoryX182. I am on Instagram at CX182. You can follow the Fortnite at Fortnite Series on Instagram at Fortnite Web on Twitter. And you can find it streaming on YouTube everywhere.
And we did the last thing. I'll do that first. So perfect, and thank you so much, everyone back home. We have only 4 more episodes left this season. How crazy!
Oh my gosh!
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to make sure everyone's getting out the word of Functional, and we will see you all next week.